Hey everybody, it's Taylor the Daily Eden, and let's get into it. Now in this episode, we're going to talk about yet another President Biden executive order. That is Executive Order 14016. And what this executive order does is it revokes Trump's Executive Order 13801, which established industry-recognized apprenticeship programs, which are basically things that companies or leaders of industry set up to allow to hire people to maybe lower level types of jobs and then give them training, on-the-job training, in order to allow them to progress further within the company. Basically a way for industry to actually reach out to the public and give maybe the middle class or uneducated people that probably don't have a lot of skills even, you can come on and learn necessary skills in a certain type of industry in order to progress and make a pretty substantial career out of it. Now, once again, we are revoking that, and those industry recognized apprenticeship programs no longer exist because of Joe Biden's order. And that's not to say that there's not an apprenticeship program, a nationally recognized apprenticeship program, and there is, because that is RAPs, which are registered apprenticeship programs. Now, these are things that are registered with the national government, where the federal government has put the guidelines for the apprenticeship program out. They say you need this many hours of on-the-job training, this many hours of in-class training, you need these types of rigorous things and this type of pay scale. So the federal government controls these RAPs, or registered apprenticeship programs, and we have rolled back the IRAPs, which are the industry recognized apprenticeship programs that the government didn't have as much control over. So now we are just with the RAPs, or the federal government regimented registered apprenticeship program. In a statement on whitehouse.gov, the Biden administration actually says that we're rolling back and revoking this executive order because the IRAPs do not have a good amount of wage progression. In fact, they don't have wage progression at all. The industry can basically tell you that you're going to get paid the same amount through the apprenticeship, no matter how much experience you've gained throughout the apprenticeship, no matter how many hours you have. And the RAPs, or the registered apprenticeship programs with the government, has to have a wage progression scale to show you how much money you're going to make after gaining so much knowledge in your particular field. Also, they complained that the IRAPs do not have the type of rigor that the federal government is looking for, and the type of actual regimenting out exactly what to do. There wasn't enough structure within the IRAPs to make these things as good as they possibly can. This is a really big issue in America, with college getting more and more expensive and that type of education becoming almost unobtainable for a lot of people. And then when you do get it, a lot of people are coming out of college with these huge amounts of debt that they cannot pay off, and they'll be stuck under for the rest of their lives. So coming up with a solution to give people careers and actual marketable skills to move on through their careers without having to go to college and without having to spend all this money is a really, really good thing. Also, for those people that can't even get that college education, they can go out and get these potentially high-paying jobs and make really, really good careers for themselves. It's all a very good thing. I think that the way that this legislation is moving and the stance on the Biden administration on this particular issue is a little bit too far to the left. I think that giving industry more of an incentive and more control over this is probably the best way to do it. If you incentivize industry by giving them tax breaks or what have you, then they will basically take it over. And if it becomes profitable, if it makes sense for them, then they will do it. If you give the government control over things that maybe they don't know much about, because who knows more about the industry and the opportunities and necessities of that industry than the industry itself. But if you give the government the control and they have more control over this, then you run the risk of basically making a lame duck committee of people that really don't do a whole lot. I mean, they've put out all these programs and stuff, but none of the industry is actually taking advantage of it and really registering and things like that, and the program is not really terribly successful. Not to mention, if you pass it off to industry, you're going to get rid of all of the government spending that is associated with this program. Maybe not all of it, but a good chunk of it. And reducing government spending is something that everybody across the board is pretty much agreeable to. Now, like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. I know what I've read from these bills and the way it seems to be trending is kind of away from industry and more into the government's hands. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Let me know what you guys think, because I am insanely interested to know how you feel about this subject. I know there's a lot of people out there that this doesn't affect, but maybe it does. Let me know in the comments down below. Right there, right down below. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. Subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. Go shoot me something on Twitter. Every subscriber I am super thankful for. Remember, it's totally free. You don't have to pay anything at all. I promise. I will not charge you. I will not charge you to be my YouTube subscriber. Thanks, guys, and have a good one.